Never stop reading the Bible. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here distilling insights from ancient wisdom for today. And today, we're diving right into the book of Proverbs, specifically looking at chapters 10 through 14. Our mission really is to explore this stark contrast you find there, the wisdom of the righteous versus the folly of the wicked. It's kind of a shortcut, actually, to understanding these life principles. Lots of aha moments, I think.
Yeah, and what's so interesting is how practical it gets. It's not just high-level ideas. These chapters show, concrete examples how righteousness and wickedness actually play out in daily life, in our relationships.
Right.
It really underscores not just what they are, but why they matter so much.
Okay, so let's unpack that core contrast then. The pattern seems pretty clear, right? The righteous tend to flourish, the wicked not so much. They face ruin. How do chapters 10, 11, and 14 really highlight this, especially when it comes to things like, say, wealth and a long life?
Well, it's definitely a foundational theme. There's a strong emphasis on how a life lived wisely, a righteous life, tends to attract God's blessings. And often that looks like genuine abundance, hope being fulfilled. You see contrasts like Proverbs 10.4, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. But it's not just about the money itself,
Right, it's deeper.
Exactly. It's about the underlying principle. Things like integrity, diligence, consistency traits often found in the righteous, they just naturally build lasting value. Whereas the wicked, well, their striving is often in vain. Proverbs warns about ill-gotten gains wealth through dishonesty.
Yeah, that never lasts.
It tends to dwindle, yeah. Their desires often go unmet. Lives can feel empty, maybe leading to a sudden fall or just instability.
That's a really strong distinction. But I wonder, is Proverbs saying this is always an immediate, cause and effect thing every single time? Or is it more about the general direction, the trajectory of a life based on these choices?
That's a really important question. No, it's not usually presented as some rigid instant formula, be righteous today, get rich tomorrow.
Yep.
It's more about describing general principles, the natural consequences that tend to play out over the long haul. It's about the overall trajectory. A life built on truth and diligence, on righteousness, creates a solid foundation for stability, for flourishing, even when things get tough. Conversely, a life based on deceit, on folly, well, it might look successful for a bit, maybe, but it inherently contains the seeds of its own downfall. It's cumulative.
Cumulative impact. Okay, that makes sense. And building on that, it's not just about me or you individually, is it? It's how these paths affect everyone around us, the community. The sources really stress how the righteous benefit others, while the wicked tend to bring harm.
Right, which leads to the question, how does that internal state actually, show up externally in society? And chapters 11, 12, and 14 give us a vivid picture. The righteous are genuinely a source of good. Well, their generosity, even giving to the poor, it's shown as just part of who they are. And their truthful speech that builds trust, it can literally save lives sometimes. It fosters a healthier community overall. Proverbs 11.10 says, when the righteous prosper, the city rejoices.
That's powerful, a collective benefit.
Exactly. It stems from that integrity. But the wicked, it's the stark opposite. Their words are often careless, maybe malicious. Their actions are self-serving. They might chase unjust gain, which doesn't just ruin them. It can pull down others connected to them. It creates this cycle of harm. They might grab fleeting pleasures, sure, but ultimately it leads to failure. Their influence is corrosive.
It really is. Okay, so if we zoom in even more, it seems like this all starts with our inner character, our whole approach to wisdom, to truth itself. That seems to be the real fork in the road.
Precisely. Chapters 12, 13, and 14 really hammer this home, how differently each group views God's word, wise counsel. The righteous value it. They're teachable, they listen, their words have integrity. And this alignment, it leads to good things, praise, genuine prosperity, avoiding a lot of trouble. Their life tends towards peace, influence. But the foolish, they treat wisdom lightly or just reject it outright. Their speech is careless, maybe deceptive, full of lies or boasts. And because they lack that self-governance, they're often controlled by impulses or other people even. It leads to ruin.
Yeah.
The text is clear, God is just, there's prosperity even for descendants for the righteous, but ruin and wrath for the wicked. And you also see diligence paying off for the righteous, that steady effort bears fruit. The foolish, they just squander opportunities. It's a pattern.
It really is. Wow. This deep dive was sourced from the Setter Studio.